What's up, guys? I have a GMC Sierra with a 6.2 liter and we're gonna do a tow test today. I just did some videos with the Hurricane and the Hemi from Ram. I gotta see how the 6.2 does, and I got a high trim level with that. Now here's a fair warning. The camera I'm shooting with now has been malfunctioning and I just now noticed it. So if you see a little bit more blur today, I apologize. But here is the payload. I wasn't going to use this truck because I had a Chevy available. But this one has 1,472 pounds of payload. That ain't bad. GVWR is 7,100 pounds. And that rear axle is 3,800 pounds. So if you get max tow, they do increase the capacity for that. Now this truck does have some goodies. It has this big brake kit up front. It also has a Corsa exhaust, and who knows, maybe it might have an intake system. Let's take a quick peek. No intake. Okay, that's okay. Well, here's what we're gonna do. I already dropped the trailer down, so you guys probably can tell it's squatting a good bit. That's only 2 3/4. I say that as if it's not a lot. The Rams I did were just over 3 inches, or at 3 inches, I believe. So the only negative thing is the tires. You know, when you have these types of tires, these are for highway use. And when you're towing 9,500 pounds, we're gonna get this trailer weighed today. So we'll go do that really quickly. And let me just show you what's in the trailer. There is a car in here. And you guys see back there? You can see some of the tires. So 4 tires out back. I know sometimes people will say that whenever they don't like the way one of my tests go, they'll say, oh, well, you didn't have the car in the trailer, that's why I did better. So I have to start showing this. So yeah, okay by me, because I don't have to lie about anything. This is just a test that pays me nothing from the manufacturers by lying. So I don't lie. But let's go ahead and go to the cat scale so you guys can see just how heavy this trailer is. Here are the numbers on the cat scale. So the trailer's probably around, figure about 9,500 pounds, give or take. And yeah, we're over on that rear gross axle, and of course on the gross combined weight rating here. As far as the suspension goes, this truck does have a helper spring. So there's 3 leaves in that pack. And yeah, it's probably really close to the bumps. Actually, I can see it might be touching on the bump stops. Let me see if I can show it to you. Yeah, looks like we might be riding on the bump stops there. I get this question a lot. Could I go back down to a lower trim level truck? It's supposed to be like 95 degrees today, and I got my ventilated seats on. I'm good. I'd rather just have these higher trim trucks, just saying. Oh, by the way, hold on. Let me turn my massage function on. So I was going to get a Chevy, but then this truck worked out better because of the payload. Now, I'm still over on the numbers, but it's by the thinnest of margins on the payload. So the GWR is 7,100 pounds. I'm over by 40 pounds. But where I'm really over is the gross combined in the rear axle, which is no shocker. If I were to potentially get a weight distribution hitch, that probably would help a little bit, but it's over by a good bit, what you guys see here. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but you know, having this 6.2, okay, he's pulling. Now I put about $25 in here. Premium was $3.89, so I only put like 5 or 6 gallons in this truck, so unfortunately that's all I could get out of it. But nevertheless, I want to see if this truck can actually mile an hour better compared to the 5.7 in the 3-liter Hurricane engine. I really think that the manufacturer should bring back the V8s. Like, I know that GM already has them, but when I say bring them back, I'm talking about bring them back better, make them more efficient, but also give us options here. Like, you know, this truck has that Corsa exhaust, so that's going to help a little bit. I'm not sure if it's just a cat. I'm sure it's just a catback exhaust. I do do have it in sport mode. Let me put it in regular, normal mode real quickly. Actually, it's still loud. I'm going 62. Let's go up to 70. I've said this in the past. GM trucks have some of the best stability. Now, this is a high trim, short wheelbase, half ton, and I can easily tow this 28-foot trailer for hours. Like, this is comfortable. I mean, I really do have my massage function on, by the way, too. And the ventilated seats, that's gonna really help on this hot day. So I wish the manufacturers would build these trucks with just a little bit more capacity, because most guys are gonna want these trim levels, especially if you're going to be doing long hauls. But reality is, if you're looking to tow something like this, like if you have a Corvette and you're looking to get a race trailer, probably 24 foot would be, and that might be too long. I would say 20 foot maybe, but that's a small trailer. But 24 foot is max, and I would say aluminum trailer. And again, I would just venture to say you're going to have to add stuff to the rear of the trailer. Like, I have those tires and wheels in the back just to try to take a little bit of weight off of the front. And does it help? That helps a little bit. I mean, this trailer's heavy. It's a steel trailer, and yeah, it's not a lightweight trailer. So yeah, so far I feel comfortable going up this grade, so we're gonna do it today. Normally I'll turn around. Like, I've only done it with maybe one truck, which is a Ford F-150. I've done it a couple times now. Nothing against Ford. Ford trucks are just lightweight. They are. And when you're towing this much weight, you're going to need a weight distribution hitch for a Ford truck. So I think that you're going to need upgraded tires, you're going to need a longer bed, you're going to have to do a little bit more on the Ford side, because their trucks do have more payload, but that's at the cost of weight, and you need weight to tow. And the reason why this truck is pretty good on payload, I forgot to mention this, is because it has a carbon fiber bed. That carbon fiber bed is actually helping out a lot. And if I were to take off that bed cover and that rack on the back, that might actually give us maybe 20 more pounds of capacity too. So when people say, when I make, you know, beefs about 40 pounds here, 20 pounds here, they make a big difference on half-ton trucks for sure. I don't know what gear I'm in because GM doesn't give that information to us, but I mean, I'm holding steady. Was that about 2,700 RPMs? 62 miles an hour? I don't know if I would want an exhaust personally. I think I would rather just have just whatever comes standard. Now, if you put it in sport mode with these 24 plus GM pickups with the 6.2, it does have active exhaust. So putting it in sport mode will make it louder. But if you put it in normal, it won't be louder. But you know, wide open throttle, it's not struggling. But again, this is a heavy trailer. This is a really heavy trailer. Don't ever forget it. It's a sail back there. Let's talk about that really quickly. I was just stuck behind a slow truck here. I always slow down before the grade because I want to try to show you guys how much power these trucks are able to create. It's 86 degrees right now, so that's perfect for this test. And right now the transmission is working hard. It's at 192 degrees. And when you're looking at trailers like this, some people in the comment section will say, oh, well, I have an open trailer. Or they won't say they have an open trailer. They'll say they'll be able to hit 80 miles an hour with my weight, but they won't tell you that it's an open trailer. You've seen my past tests. I've done multiple videos with my black trailer, whether it be here in Utah or back home, or it used to be home in Maryland. When I hit those grades, every truck struggles to get to 80, and that's always the benchmark for me because I want to see if they can do it. And you can go back and watch the Hurricane and the Hemi video that I did. Those trucks performed well, but they lost mile an hour going up this grade. Now this truck having the, you know, the 6.2, and it does burn premium fuel, so that's what they recommend for this engine for max power. But the biggest part about this is that trailer is a sail, so it's gonna slow it down. I mean, even right now, I mean, you guys can see, you hear the engine, right? You hear that exhaust because simply, you know, I'm going up not even much of a grade here, but it's a heavy trailer. These heavy trailers, these long enclosed trailers are just, even this is not even that heavy. I mean, 9,500 pounds, give or take. It's not that heavy, but it makes a difference at 6% grade, it would still struggle at like 4,000 pounds. That's probably all it weighs. So just keep these things in mind when you're considering buying a truck. Again, I always buy HD trucks for the simple fact here. I'm never going to be over on any HD truck that I pull. I will always be under on the axles. Well, the only exception is probably the Power Wagon, because that's a purpose-built truck, and they're not really built for this. They're really built for going off-road and maybe towing small trailers. But again, even though they say 10,000 pounds, doesn't necessarily mean you can tow a true 10,000 pound. Even on this truck here, even though they say you can tow close to 10,000, doesn't necessarily mean you can actually tow that, because you're limited to that rear axle, you're limited to your gross combined weight rating, and you're limited to your payload. This 6.2 liter has been very controversial this year, but nevertheless, it has 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes to a 10-speed transmission. This truck does have a 323 rear. Let's see how it pulls up that 6% grade. You guys ready? Here we go. So I'm gonna drop down to 50. And here we go. You guys see where we are for fuel economy? I think it was like at 4.5, 4.7 with the Hemi and the Hurricane. So we're already a hair above that. This is probably 8% right here, because I see 4 degrees on the for the pitch, and 4 degrees equates to like 8% basically. Yeah, this is already outperforming the others. The others didn't get over 61 miles an hour, I don't think. I know the Hemi didn't, but the Hurricane might. Oh, there it is. This one definitely is ahead of the Hemi by far. I lost like 6 miles an hour, I think, maybe even more with both of those engines. You gotta go back and watch those videos. Now, the temperature did drop a little bit, and I do have the AC on. I did the same thing for both trucks I did in the past. This is it right here. Wow. Fuel economy is good. We're at 66 miles an hour. This actually outperforms the L8T. Just keep that in mind for a second. That's something to consider too. I can't believe this. Wow. Miles an hour. I'm impressed. 68. We're pretty much done. We're at the top. You guys see that? That axle is hot. 195, 196. Not too hot. Let's see. Yeah, it's not hot at all. Intake 123. And I needed to remember to do this too. Air conditions at like 50 degrees. These are the Bridgestone Alenza tires. It's going to be a 275/50/22. It is not a LT tire. And you guys see right here, it's going to have 2,403 pounds of capacity for the tires. And that's that 44 PSI code. So it's obviously important to see performance, but what's more important is going down and being able to maintain speed. I can't find any gas truck that's good at this. If you want this to be good, you gotta get a diesel. And I haven't had a chance to even test out the LZO, and I think the LM2, I think it might have done good because it has an exhaust brake, but I can't wait to try out the LZO for sure. But let's go ahead and start tapping. Let's go ahead and, might help if I put it in tow haul mode, right? Come on. Yeah, these transmissions are very unresponsive, even in tow haul mode. And this is way too fast. I have to admit though, this truck has great stability with these Bridgestone lenses. I wasn't expecting this. You guys see the tire pressure though, right? I don't even have it maxed out, and it's doing really good. Yeah, no feedback. All right, I'm going way too fast. These brakes are really good. Really solid. There it is, there's a downshift. See, the goal for me is to stick around like 60 miles an hour going down a grade. I don't want to go any faster, because if you cook your brakes, I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity to feel that. I drove an F-150 years ago. It was a base model, two-door, long bed F-150. I was probably towing like 7,000 pounds with you. And I was going down a grade, and I had no clue how to tow. And I cooked, oh, there it is. Whoa, there we go. This wins. This one hands down today. It still loses my test in terms of like maintaining. Let's see, let's get down. Oh, see, it went up to 68. Come on. Yeah, no truck does good maintaining like 60 miles an hour. See, I'm going up in speed there, and we're pretty much at the end of this grade. This is a 4% grade going down right in this area. But yeah, this truck, at least it downshifted. So it's helping to really maintain the speed that you're at. But it's gonna go up a little bit, so. But yeah, the tires are great. The bigger brake kit, I recommend that. If you have the extra coin to spend on those things, they are amazing. They're a game changer actually. And I don't know, maybe I'll have to do another 6.2 test this year without that exhaust system. Maybe I'll do that. That way we can have like a apples to apples test to see how well it does.
Mile.
8.1 MPGs. That is really good for a gas engine like this. Even though this truck passed the test for me today, I don't recommend you buy this truck and tow this much weight. This is way too much trailer. I'm only doing this for test purposes, because the reality is I'm only doing it for 30 minutes, so fatigue never kicks in for me, and I have no passengers, no gear. The truck is basically empty, except for myself and my camera bag. That's it. So when you add more gear, extra passengers, that's going to really change the characteristics of how this truck tows. This is only for HD trucks, I would say, this trailer. And if you're looking to tow a car hauler trailer, open trailer is the way to go with half tons. But if you got to have enclosed, I would say 20 foot would be max, maybe 24. Aluminum, 100%. 20 foot steel, you might be able to get away with that. And I would say that, yeah, 7,000 GWR. I wouldn't go over that with this type of truck. But hopefully I get my hands on the Coyote, guys. I don't think it will outperform the 6.2. The 6.2 is a killer. It absolutely killed it today. The Hurricane embarrassed me, you know, on my Ram side, right? Even though it was a standard output. And if I were to get a high output, I mean, the only trucks that are available with that engine is high trim levels, and they don't have this kind of payload. So they're gonna be close to that 1,200 mark. So I would have to get like a base model limited and that's probably the highest I can go on trim level. Maybe a limited longhorn, and I have to have the 20-inch wheels because again, they just have no payload. But I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Make sure the notifications are on. See you guys soon.